Health coaching is absolutely exploding right now. What started out as a niche passion for a lot of people has ballooned into this massive global industry. But how do you actually make that leap? How do you go from just wanting to help people to building a real, credible, and successful career as a coach? Okay, let's dive into that. We're going to map out the whole journey from passion to profession. Right now, the health coaching market is basically in the middle of a modern-day gold rush. I mean, the demand is just skyrocketing as more and more people are looking for that personalized guidance. You can see the scale of this growth right here. It's huge. But, just like any gold rush, this booming, super crowded field has its own set of challenges if you're trying to stake a claim. And this is where things get really interesting. In an industry that's still largely unregulated, how does anyone, clients, doctors, even insurance companies, know who to trust? This quote really hits the nail on the head. Proving your credibility with a real certification isn't just a nice-to-have anymore. It's fast becoming the absolute baseline just to be taken seriously. So here's our game plan. We're going to start with this gold rush and why it's even happening. Then we'll get into why certification is so critical, how to decode all those different credentials out there, and the nitty-gritty of building your program and knowing your scope of practice. And to wrap it all up, we'll take a look at where this whole field is headed. First up, let's really set the stage. Why is this massive boom happening right now? And what are the real risks of jumping into a field that's, well, still a bit like the Wild West? Well, the simple answer is that our current healthcare system is struggling. It's amazing for emergencies, but it's really failing when it comes to the root causes of chronic disease. And just look at this. A staggering 86% of all healthcare spending is on these exact conditions. This is the huge gap that health coaches are perfectly positioned to fill by focusing on lifestyle, behavior change, and prevention. Which brings us right to the solution for any coach who's serious about their career: establishing that professional legitimacy through a solid certification. Getting certified isn't just about a fancy piece of paper to hang on your wall. No, it's a major strategic move. For one, it builds instant trust with clients, who are getting smarter and more cautious every day. It's also a logistical key. It unlocks access to coaching platforms, makes you eligible for liability insurance, and opens doors to those higher-paying jobs that demand verified professionals. At the end of the day, it just proves you're committed to a high ethical standard. Okay, so you're sold on getting certified. Great. But which one? The world of credentials can honestly feel like you're staring at a bowl of alphabet soup. So let's break down the main players and help you find the right path for your specific goals. Let's look at the three heavyweights here. First up is the ICF, the International Coaching Federation. People see this as the global gold standard, especially for life, executive, or performance coaching. Then you have the NBHWC, which is the big authority for health and wellness coaches, especially if you want to work alongside doctors and clinicians. And finally, there's CPD, Continuing Professional Development. It's a really flexible, internationally recognized option that's super popular with online coaches. So before we break down how to choose, just take a second and think about this for yourself. What's your number one priority here? Is it making sure it lines up with your specific niche? Is it about managing the cost and the time commitment? Or is it about focusing on those practical, hands-on skills? Your answer to that last question is what's going to guide your decision. First, you have to align the credential with your niche. So if you're a health coach, the NBHWC is a pretty natural fit. Second, you have to look at the total investment. And I don't just mean tuition, but the renewal fees and continuing education requirements too. And third, decide if you want a program that's all about hands-on practice or one that's a bit more theoretical. The key is to not just chase a trend, but to pick the credential that strategically serves you and your future clients. All right, with your credential path chosen, let's shift gears and get to the heart of your business, designing a program that actually delivers those life-changing, transformative results for your clients. So many new coaches fall into the trap of selling single sessions. The problem with that model is you're just selling your time. It's incredibly hard to market, and frankly, it doesn't get your clients the best results. The much better approach is a signature program. With this, you're not selling an hour of coaching. You're selling a specific outcome, a transformation. This is so much easier to market, your clients get way better results, and it supports premium pricing. It's a win-win. So how do you build one? It's actually a pretty simple four-step process. First, pinpoint the exact outcome or result your client is going to achieve. Second, map out their journey. What are the key milestones or steps to get them there? Third, you flesh out each of those steps with your content, tools, and coaching questions. And finally, you give it a compelling, fabulous name that actually sells the result. Okay, this next section is, without a doubt, the most important one, and it's the one that gets overlooked the most often. You absolutely have to understand your legal and ethical boundaries to protect both yourself and the people you're trying to help. Let's get crystal clear on this term, scope of practice. Think of it as your professional rulebook. It defines what you are and are not authorized to do, based on your specific training and your credentials. It is not a suggestion, it's your professional boundary line. The easiest way to think about it is like this. A coach's role is to guide, motivate, support, and partner. A clinician's role, on the other hand, is to diagnose, treat, and prescribe. We are partners in a client's health journey. We are not the primary medical authority. Confusing these two roles is where the biggest risks are. So, the most crucial point here is this. Certification verifies your knowledge, but it is not the same as a state-issued license. A license grants someone the legal authority to practice medicine or therapy or dietetics. A certificate does not. This is a critical legal distinction that you have to remember, always. To put it bluntly, you have to stay in your lane. Coaches cannot, I repeat, cannot diagnose conditions or interpret lab results. They can't prescribe specific treatments or supplements, and they definitely can't practice outside of their specialization. Crossing these lines isn't just unethical, it puts you and your client in serious legal and physical danger. So where is all of this headed? Let's take a look at how the industry is finally maturing from its Wild West beginnings into a legitimate and integrated part of modern healthcare. You can really see how the profession is evolving. I mean, it started out as more of a hobbyist thing, and right now, yeah, we're in that chaotic, unregulated gold rush phase. But the future is absolutely headed towards a regulated, professional field that's deeply integrated into the entire healthcare system. And that means a regulatory shakeup is coming. It's inevitable. And while that might sound a little scary, it's actually fantastic news for trained, certified professionals. It's going to help weed out the bad actors, clarify the rules for everyone, and further legitimize the vital role that qualified coaches play. And coaches are absolutely essential to building this future. As Dr. Hanaway says, approaches like functional medicine are creating a whole new operating system for healthcare, one that's proactive, personalized, and focused on root causes. And certified health coaches, we're the key players in making this new system a reality for everyone. So we'll end with this question for you. As this gold rush starts to settle and the whole landscape matures, the coaches who really thrive will be the ones who prioritized credibility and professionalism right from day one. So the question is, how will you build a practice that's not just successful today, but is truly built to last for the future?